Hello guys. So far we have covered till assumptions of CLRM and estimation of those unknown population parameters using OLS. So now let us move forward and discuss the violations of assumptions of CLRM. Okay. So our linear model, the specification of our model centers on the disturbance vector U and the data matrix X, and the assumptions underlying CLRM are given here. And also, the assumptions have been covered in full detail under the lecture series, lecture number 2 and 3. And I have also given the link of those two lectures in the description box, so you can go back and recollect your memories regarding such assumptions. Okay, so what are the crucial questions that we have to ask, before we appropriately run the model? So the given data set that we have, how do we make sure that assumptions underlying OLS are valid? First question. Second question is, how do we know the properties of the unobservable disturbance term, that we have in the data set? That is, how do we make sure that whatever we have assumed about the distribution properties of those disturbance term still valid from my data set? And third is, how do we know which variables should be included in the data matrix X and in what functional form they should be included? So if any of such assumptions are violated, what we commit is called as specification error. So the question is, when such assumptions are violated, are these OLS estimators still useful for inference procedures? What are the consequences of such violations of assumptions that we'll discuss in the subsequent lectures? So let us now understand, in how many ways such type of violations can occur in our linear regression model. Okay, so let us discuss the problem associated with the disturbances term first. So if you remember, one of the crucial assumption of CLRM is that variance covariance matrix, that is written as expected U transpose, is a diagonal matrix consisting of sigma square on the principal diagonal and all the other elements as 0. And if you also remember, this is the assumption which is called as assumption of spherical disturbances. That is, we assume that our error terms are homoscedastic. By homoscedastic, I mean that variance of UI given data matrix is a constant term sigma square. Okay? And covariance of two error terms ui and uj conditioned on x is 0, where I is not equal to j. So when you have non-constant error variances, what we have is the problem of heteroscedasticity. And you can see in this diagram that savings is my y and income is x. For income level, let's say x1, the variability in saving is this, and for let's say income level x3, the variability in savings is this. So you can see from the diagram that these two variances are not equal. So what we have here is the problem of non-constant variances. Heteroscedasticity is most commonly observed in cross-sectional data. Okay, and then the next problem that we have is when your error terms are pairwise correlated. That is, the assumption of zero correlation between error terms gets violated, and this is the problem what is called as autocorrelation. So here in this diagram we have what is called as positive autocorrelation. So these are the two assumptions, two violations which are associated with disturbances term. Okay, so now next set of problems that you might incur will be related to this data matrix. So here we talk about our data matrix or data set that we have collected. So first of all is exclusion of relevant variables. How do we make sure that all the relevant variables have been included explicitly in the model? For example, economic theory says that demand of a commodity is just not a function of price alone, it is also a function of income. So if in this case we want to talk about the price elasticity of demand without taking income into control, such estimates will not give me the proper or you can say consistent estimates of the price elasticity. And this problem is very serious, so identification of this problem at an early stage is very crucial for a good model. Okay, next problem is inclusion of irrelevant variables, exactly opposite to this problem, but slightly less serious. So it talks about that, those variables which might not be relevant for your regression, but you have still included those in your regression equation. Then we have the problem of incorrect functional form. What does exactly incorrect functional form talks about here is that suppose y, or there exists a quadratic relationship between y and x, but instead you ran a regression on the raw value of x alone. So instead of this regression, what should have been the case is this. So when you do not take into account the correct functional form, still you commit a specification error. Then we have the problem of multicollinearity, and if you also remember, this is also called as identification condition when we discuss the assumptions of CLRM. So multicollinearity का problem क्या है कि your X, that is data matrix, has column rank, or you can say has no full column rank. That is, if your key number of explanatory variables, including constant, your rank of the data matrix is less than k. So in this case, your OLS estimate, it will not be possible for you to find the correct, or you can say consistent estimates of OLS. Then we have problem of non-zero correlation between the regressors and disturbance term. Such type of issues are most commonly observed in simultaneous equation. Where you have price and quantity demanded of a commodity getting simultaneously determined. That's where the zero correlation between regressors and the disturbance term gets violated. And also you might have when you have measurement error in the variables, that's where also you find this assumption getting violated. And then finally we enter into the arena of non-stationary variables, where your x variables are non-stationary. That's where you talk about co-integration, vector error correction mechanism, and so on and so forth. So these are the possible violations of assumptions of CLRM, which we combinedly call as specification error, which we'll discuss in our subsequent lectures one by one. So that's it for today. Next video will be uploaded on the violation of assumptions in the form of heteroscedasticity. So we'll start with heteroscedasticity, and we'll look forward to that discussion. Thank you.